In this episode of NBA Sports Talk with Walter Strong III, we're going to take this episode and remember the late, great Kobe Bryant and the impact that he had on our lives as NBA fans, and also the impact he had on us personally here on August 24, 8/24. We're remembering Kobe Bryant. Praise the Lord, everyone. Welcome to NBA Sports Talk. I'm your host, Walter Strong, where we talk NBA basketball and more from a fan's perspective. And if you're new here, we want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel, click the alert notification button, and join the conversation, either in the live chat or in the comments section, as we do each episode and we post it for you, the fan, to join the conversation. And so here today, we're going to remember Kobe Bryant. It's August 24th. And as I thought about this date, it made me think about the Kobe Bryant wearing number 8 and the Kobe Bryant who wore number 24. And so what we're going to do is just talk about 5 things how Kobe Bryant has influenced me and hopefully has influenced you, not just as an NBA fan, but also as a person, to be the very best of yourself that you can possibly be. So let's get into this episode of Remembering Kobe. The first thing I want to talk about in remembering Kobe is his commitment, his passion for winning. Kobe Bryant had a commitment to winning. And when you look at that, his commitment from the time he got into not just when he got drafted into the NBA, but, hearing some of the stories and the interviews that he's did in the past before his passing, and as he was in high school and he played in different, tournaments in preparation to get drafted to go pro, hearing about how he was committed to being the very best in his class, and he had a kill list. Some of these individuals that was on his kill list was like Tim Thomas, another person, Rip Hamilton. Brother had a kill list at 16, 17, 18 years old. So he was committed to winning. But the other thing I love about his commitment to his profession and what he was committed to do was his 4 a.m. workouts. Now, it sounds simple for a lot of people, but I remember trying to have a period of my life of saying, I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning and maybe have a time of prayer and devotion and staying consistent with it. It's one thing to do it once. It's one thing to do it maybe for a week, but to be consistent in your commitment for a 4 a.m. workout to set your day to start. That was something that was amazing that Kobe was committed to doing. He also was committed to working on each and part of his game and getting better, whether if it was his jump shot, whether if it was his mid-range game, whether if it was his ability to be able to get to the basket and amaze us with those spectacular dunks. He had a commitment to work on each and every part of his game, not just on the offensive side, but even on the defensive side. And then he was committed to pushing and getting the best out of each of his teammates, whether if that teammate was Paul Gasol, by putting the gold medal that him and Team USA won in 2010 in Paul's locker to motivate him, because he knew how playing for his national team was so important, or going toe-to-toe, face-to-face with a 7-footer like Shaquille O'Neal. Brother was committed to bring out the best. And there was some who just couldn't handle that type of commitment. Say, a la Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard, he couldn't handle it. But I want to remember his commitment to winning, because he ended up becoming a 5-time NBA champion and a 2 times finals MVP. And, and so I want to remember, first of all, his commitment to winning on the court. But the other thing I want to remember also about him is the memorable moments that Kobe gave us as fans. The memorable moments that he gave us, even for those of us who were rooting against the Lakers, who didn't want to see the Lakers win. The memorable moments, like the 40-point game streak that he scored for 40 points for 9 games while Shaquille O'Neal was not in the lineup, and he just went on a 40-point game streak of 40 points, and he was on the prefaces of breaking the streak by going up to 10 games at 40 points. But when Shaquille O'Neal was back, and Kobe was on the streak of hitting 40 points, Phil Jackson had to call him into the office and tell him, we need you to dial it back because we need to get Shaquille O'Neal ready for the playoffs, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, because Shaq didn't like how things were playing itself out. And mentally and emotionally, Shaq was not in the right place in his head. And so Phil had to basically tell Kobe, don't break the streak. And so what did Kobe do? Kobe did what Kobe does. He scores 38 in the 10th game, but the streak ended up being broken, and he doesn't end up breaking the streak. But my point is, it was memorable. And then just to hear the off the court, behind the scenes of what played into that streak not being broken, and Kobe only scoring 38. Oh, that was a memorable moment. Another memorable moment that I had was Kobe, Shaq, and the Lakers, Glenn Rice, Derek Fisher, and those boys in their Game 7 playoffs 2000 against the Blazers, against Rasheed Wallace and Scottie Pippen, Taman Stoudemire, Bonzi Wells, going to war. And in Game 7, Kobe leading the charge of the comeback, because they were down against the Blazers, and he throws that pass to Shaq, and Shaq slams it down, and all you see is Shaq pointing, and the Lakers ultimately end up winning Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals, going on to the NBA Finals and end up becoming NBA champions. Man, what a memorable moment. And then, of course, we can't forget Kobe's 81-point game. 81 points game that he did work against the Toronto Raptors. 81-point game that he did and laid on Morrison, Peterson, and Jalen Rhodes. I mean, to the point where you had to double team this man, even triple team this man. But that wasn't going to stop Kobe from dropping 81. A memorable. The first type of performance that would literally threaten Wilt Chamberlain's scoring performance of over 100 points. Man, just a few. Now, I'm quite sure you have some memorable moments. So do me a favor. In the comments section, give me one of your memorable Kobe moments that Kobe did on the court here. And do me a favor also. Click that thumbs up button. Hit that share button. And subscribe to the NBA Sports Talk with Walter Strong III YouTube channel, where we talk NBA basketball and more from a fan's perspective. Let's continue on in remembering Kobe Bryant. My next point that I want to share about remembering Kobe is the memorable interviews that I've seen Kobe Bryant do. The interviews, not why he was playing, but when he retired from basketball. Some memorable moments, interviews such as The Core, with Alex Rodriguez and Big Cat Dan. And what was interesting about this interview, if you go on YouTube and you pull it up, it's called the Corp. Type in the Corp, Kobe Bryant. What's interesting about this interview, it gives you an insight to the Kobe Bryant after basketball, and they're doing the interview in his office. And you see pictures like the late great Steve Jobs. You see pictures of the late great Michael Jackson. You see pictures like Oprah Winfrey. All these different great established individuals in their profession, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jackson, Steve Jobs, the innovators, all on his wall, and others. But it gave you an insight to Kobe's mindset. And one of the things that they asked him about mentors who mentored him in the business space was, for example, Oprah Winfrey, and him getting insight of how she started Harpo's production. He talked to another gentleman named Mark. What was his name? I had it here in my notes. I will make sure I bring that name up. But he was the head of CEO. I'll make sure I get his name. But it gives you an insight to Kobe's business mindset and his mentors. And then another great interview that he did was with On All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. These are just a few that he's did. He also did one with on Valuetainment with Patrick Abibade, business entrepreneur and insurance person who's very established in the financial industry, but he had a memorable interview, which I believe is probably the last interview that Kobe did before he passed away. So you want to check these out, but these are some of my memorable interviews on how I want to remember Kobe. What are some of your memorable interviews that you've seen Kobe do? Not on the court, not while he was playing, but the Kobe Bryant that we saw off the court being interviewed, and he gave us some insight to the Mamba mentality. Let's continue on. Another thing when we touched it on and remembering Kobe, his business mindset. Okay, and here's where I want to get into the mentors. Here's when I want to get into the mentors. His name was Mark Parker. Yes, he was the CEO of Nike. The CEO, and I'm not for sure if he's currently still the CEO, but at that time, Kobe reached out to Mark Parker. And these are the types of people he was reaching out to, where and when he was playing, he was reaching out to individuals like the late great Bill Russell. He was reaching out to individuals like Jerry West, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. But then when the business kicked in, these are the individuals who were grooming him so that he could then start his own business entrepreneurship endeavors. And so he end up being successful. And the type of people that he hired, they had to have a commitment to excellence, to wanting to be the very best. They had to be individuals who were curious, who said, "Oh, I can do that." In one of the interviews he did on Valuetainment, he talked about not hiring people who felt that they could do that thing or accomplish a certain thing, but the ones that were curious enough to say, "I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can really make this happen." He says, that's the person that we want, because that person is willing to push past what they think they can't do, but they have the curiosity to want to say, "I want to be able to go deeper." That was just the insight to Kobe's business mindset and his attention to detail. The same attention to detail that we saw him having on the court was the same attention to detail that he had in being a great writer, and him ultimately putting together a great movie documentary, My Letter to Dear Basketball, and won an Oscar. An Oscar. And did he win that Oscar shortly right after retiring? Did he? No, he put in the work on the off season. He put in the work in between the games when he was on the bus or the plane. Uh, and you know, he always was putting in the work, and this gave us an insight to Kobe's mindset, his business mindset, what he called the Mamba mentality. And so I needed to remember him not just on the court, me personally on August 24th, 8/24, the 8 being his jersey, first jersey, the 24 being the second jersey. But I needed to remember his business mindset because that's the mentality I need to have. That's the mentality as a viewer you need to have. That's the mentality as an NBA fan. When you turn the TV off and the games are gone or we're in the off season, that's the mentality that you need to have in your profession, in your career, in your education, in your home as a family, and more. Hey, do me a favor, click that like button for me, click that thumbs up, share this on your favorite social media platform, subscribe to the new NBA Sports Talk with Walter Strong the third YouTube channel, click the alert notification button, join the conversation in the comment section. All right, here's my final point on why I believe it's so important to remember Kobe. Kobe Bryant, the person. This man was a great husband. This man was a great husband. Was he perfect? No. Did he make mistakes? Yes. Let me ask you a question. Are you perfect? Do you make mistakes? Have you made a mistake in the last 24 to 72 hours? Possibly. I know I have. But that still doesn't stop me and you from being a great husband or a great wife. And he was willing to hold himself accountable when he did make his mistakes back during the 2003, 2004 season, I think it was, or even 2004, probably 2003, 2004, and him going through that court issues of being accused of raping someone, but ultimately him being able to be justified and proving that he didn't. He knew he had to be accountable to repairing his relationship with his wife. And after that, he continued to be faithful. And so he was a great husband. Also, he was a great father, a girl dad of girl dad. Definitely encouraged me to take my game to the next level. Give me 1 second. I want to close this door. All right, there we go. There we go. Just in case if you hear something in the background, the lawn people doing their work. But he was a great father to his girls, and Gianna, unfortunately, who died with him in the helicopter accident, along with the other passengers and the pilot. But he was a great husband, a great father, and him being there to take them to school and pick them up, and him there being invested in what they were interested in doing and their passions and their goals and the desires. The same thing we should be doing as fathers, whether if we're married or if we have children and we see them. We have to be accountable as fathers to be great in our children's lives and being present in their lives each and every opportunity we get. And then finally, a person who inspired others through his life that he lived. Wasn't a motivational speaker, but was willing to take what he learned through the game of basketball in life and share it with others. His accomplishments, his successes, his struggles, his pains, his victories, his defeats. When he had a season of being in good health and a season of injury, he inspired us. Even when he tore his Achilles heel and he still needed to shoot the free throw, because when you were injured, You had to shoot the free throw, and if you left, you wouldn't be able to come back in again. And he shot the free throw, and then he walked off the court. Kobe Bryant. And so it's important that on August 24th today, we remember him. So the question of the day that I have for you here on August 24th is, how will you remember Kobe Bryant as a fan, but also as a person, and how he's influenced and impacted your life? Leave your answer to this question in the comment section and start a conversation with me and others as we remember Kobe Bryant. And so that's this episode of NBA Sports Talk with Walter Strong III. And so we wanted to take this time on this day to remember Kobe Bryant, the Kobe Bryant who wore number 8, the Kobe Bryant who wore number 24, the Kobe Bryant that we loved and admired as a person, as a great husband, a devoted father, and a faithful son. God bless.